back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So I'm like super duper extra excited today for this video. I'm a little tired right now. I've been filming for like literally, I think like 4 hours almost. It's been a long filming day today. So I had been going back and forth a lot with what I wanted my first Halloween tutorial to be. I love skeletons, I love skulls, I think they're awesome, but I do feel like they're a little bit overplayed at this point because I mean, everybody loves skulls and skeletons and all that stuff, so I feel like that's all people have been doing the last couple years for Halloween. So I had like a bunch of pictures and stuff on my phone, and a lot of people asked me to do like the sugar skulls, a lot of people tagged me in skeletons, a lot of people tagged me in a lot of different things, and just from everything that I've been seeing lately, this is kind of like what I came up with. Another one of my ideas was to do like a cracked porcelain doll. So I kind of incorporated everything that I saw into this one thing. So it's basically like a cracked face. So like you're seeing your skeleton, but I did like a rose color. And then I saw this amazing picture on Google. My phone's so dirty right now, give me a second. I saw this amazing picture on Google, and that's where I got the rosy idea from, and that's where I got the idea to like go all down the neck. And then I also saw this picture on Google with the skeleton, like with the flowers in it, and I just thought it was so beautiful, like the flowers, the pastel flowers peeking through like the bones. And I just kind of had all these ideas and just sat down and went with it. And this is what turned out. So I hope you guys like it. We've got like a half skeleton on this side, we got half the mouth. And then on this side, we got like a full out glam look. We got full out glam eyes. And it's funny because I'm not a huge fan of like the half and half. I've never seen one that I actually like. The first one that I ever saw that was like a half dead, half alive person was Desi Perkins this year when she did like the melting into like the skeleton thing. I saw that and I was like, wow, she actually did it in a way that I love. So I wanted to try to kind of figure out how to do it in a way that I liked. And this is what I came up with. So I hope you guys like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see how I got this, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, I'm so excited to be doing this voiceover. This has taken me forever to cut and edit. It's crazy. Had no idea Halloween tutorial could take this long. I went back and forth about uploading this video for you guys, and I decided to just upload it, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm just going to start by using my NYX Wonder Pencil, and I'm creating kind of like the outline of where I want the cracks to be on my face. I like to use the NYX Wonder Pencil because, as you can see, if you ever mess up, you can just wipe it away with your finger and start over. It's super easy to use, and it doesn't leave any harsh marks that are hard to get off on your face later. So I'm just going back and forth and kind of creating this crack from my temple, and then I'm going to take it down the center of my nose and around my lip, so that it's halfway through my lip. And I'm also going to create some cracks for a brain up at the top of my head. So again, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm going to draw it, kind of erase off what I don't like, and just keep adjusting the shape until I get it to something that I'm happy with. So I am going to go ahead and start with the glam side of my face first. So I'm just priming my face with my Hangover RX primer from Too Faced. I'm trying to kind of like avoid my little crack marks. I am going to end up having to redraw them soon, you're going to see, but I tried to avoid them as much as I could. I was just going with the guide. I didn't really have a plan when I sat down to do this. So now I'm going to go on with my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. This is my favorite foundation to use whenever I'm doing Halloween looks because it dries to such a matte, powdery finish. It does not move. You're going to see I'm going to use my Makeup Forever Flash palette to create all the colors and everything in this look, and I mix everything with the lightest shade of the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation because it just helps it dry to a matte, and it really helps it not move or smudge or like budge at all. So I love this foundation for Halloween makeup looks. It's like my go-to. So I'm just applying this foundation with a beauty blender as I normally would with little pouncing motions. I'm just kind of trying to avoid the cracks, you know, as best as I can. So now I'm just going to go ahead and conceal. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard. Guys, I have to be honest, I don't like this concealer. Like, I got it again to try and make myself like it because I know that everybody loves it. This is like the third tube that I've bought that I've tried to like it, and like, I just hate it. Like, I just don't like this concealer. It looks really good on camera and it looks really good in pictures, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just don't like it. So I'm just blending it out with my beauty blender, and I also used it to prime my eyelids. So now I'm just going to go ahead and bake a little bit. This is my RCMA No Color Powder. I don't know why I was making that weird face, but I'm just going to let it sit for about 30 seconds, wipe it away, and move on. So here's where I'm redrawing my crack because I completely lost it when I started blending out my concealer. So I was like, I'll just redraw it. So now to set the rest of my face, I am using my NARS Radiant Powder Foundation just because I want a little bit of extra coverage, and I love how this powder foundation gives like a nice luminous finish as opposed to a matte finish, but it gives a lot of coverage. So now I'm going into my Kat Von D eyeshadow palette, and I'm using this really light white creamy shade to just highlight my brow bone. I am going to go on with another color now from another palette. This is Snow from the Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette. I'm pretty much using this palette for the whole tutorial today for my eyes, and I'm just putting that right on top of that white color from the Kat Von D palette because I wanted it to be a little bit brighter. Now I'm picking up this MAC blush in the color Prism, and I'm just going to use this as my transition shade. I wanted something, wow, transition shade. I don't know why I said that like that. I wanted something very dusty and pink and kind of like mauve-y looking because I wanted to stick to all those rosy tones. So I love that as a transition shade. And now I'm going back into the Mega Pro palette, and I'm picking up the color Rose Quartz. It's actually a shimmer color, but I have been loving shimmers in my crease lately. I feel like it gives your eyes such a beautiful all-around glow. So I'm putting this right in my crease, and I'm also putting it on the inner and outer corners of my eyes because I am going to be doing a spotlight eye today. Going back into this Mega Pro palette, I'm going to pick up this color right here. I can't think of the name of it. It's like pomegranate something, I believe. I'm not sure. It'll be listed in the description box below. And I'm just going to do the same exact thing with this as I did with Rose Quartz, just to help make it a little bit deeper and a little bit more berry toned. Now I'm just going to pick up the shade Eggplant, and I'm going to use this to further deepen the eyes. I'm going to put this on the outer corner of my eye, starting like at my lash line and slowly blending it up to my crease. And then once I get to my crease, I'm going to use very little pressure and very little product to just drag it through my crease. I don't want anything too harsh or too intense because it's going to look like my eye has a giant bruise on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the inner corner of my eye. So I put the most product on the inner and outer corners and then use whatever's left over on the brush to drag it up and into my crease. And you're going to see that I'm going to connect it now, but I'm using very light pressure and very little product because I don't want too much purple. So now I'm going to start with my eyeliner, which is kind of like the star of the whole eye look. I'm using the Urban Decay glitter liner in the color Midnight Cowboy. It's just their gold one. And I'm starting from the inner corner of my eye and dragging it to about the middle. I love this little applicator. It is so easy to use because it is so precise. So then while that eyeliner is still wet, I'm going to go into this eye candy glitter. I cannot think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a gold glitter. I'll list it in the description box. And I'm using a little flat brush to press it on top of that eyeliner to make it even more glittery and make it stand out even more. And if you get any fallout, just dust it away with a brush. No big deal. So now at this point, when I realized that I forgot to put something in the middle of my halo eye, I'm telling you, I'm going to do a lot of back and forth in this video, guys, because I just did not plan this. I was really just going with it. So this is the ColourPop eyeshadow in the color Lovely. I just tried to be super careful and use my finger to apply it right in the middle. That's my favorite way to apply ColourPop eyeshadows, with your finger. They just apply so well, and this is one of my favorite, like all-time favorite ColourPop colors, like ever. I love that color, Lovely. It's amazing. So now I'm going to go into my Inglot gel liner in the color 77, and I'm going to create my wing. I'm creating a little flick on the outer edge and then dragging it in to meet that gold, and then I'm just going to fill in basically that empty space in the middle. At first, it's going to look a little funny, but once we put on the lashes and stuff, the eyeliner kind of all comes together and it doesn't look so weird anymore. So now I'm going to do my bottom lash line. I'm doing the same thing I did on the top. I'm starting with that Prism blush from MAC and running it all underneath of my eyes. Then I'm mixing together Rose Quartz in that pomegranate color and running that all under my eyes. And now I'm going into the Eggplant color, and I'm just pressing that up against my lash line from the outermost corner all the way to the innermost corner. As you can see, I'm keeping the line pretty thin. I didn't want anything too smoky because I wanted this to look very kind of like fairy-like, and like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I just didn't want anything crazy smoky. So now I'm using a black eyeshadow to connect my eyeliner on the top with my bottom eyeliner, and now I'm lining my waterline with a white eyeliner from ColourPop. This is in the color Exit. Going back into this Lorac eyeshadow palette, I'm going to pick up the color Snow once again and use that to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. Okay, so let's start on the fun stuff now. I'm going to pick up this kind of peachy pinky color from the palette and mix it together with the Infallible Pro Matte foundation in the color 101. It's the lightest color because I wanted something a little bit more pastel and not so bright. And also, like I said before, when you mix these colors with this Pro matte foundation, it just holds up so much better. Like, it dries to a matte and it does not budge, it doesn't smudge, it doesn't move, and it's just so much better. So I'm just using a little flat concealer brush and kind of tracing out the edges of my cracks to start creating kind of like a shape and kind of creating a workspace for myself. So I'm going to speed up a lot of this stuff because, I mean, you don't need to see me in slow motion outlining my cracks. You guys get it. So now I'm going to outline the brain also. So now I'm just using my Inglot gel liner in the color 77, or in the number 77, to outline all these cracks. Outlining everything in black is kind of what gives everything life. All the shading is what makes everything look three-dimensional, and it just really makes everything stand out. So you want to just outline everything in black, basically. Anytime you're doing something and you want it to look like three-dimensional and like really intense, just outline it in black. When in doubt, outline in black. So all I'm doing is outlining with black right now. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the teeth. So I'm just using that black gel liner to create like the line that I'm going to make my teeth on. So as you can see, I'm going back and forth a little bit. I start with a soft line and then I start to darken it just because it's easier for me to work that way. If I just go on with a super dark line and I mess up, it's like impossible. So I like to go really, really slow, guys. I'm so sorry. So now I'm going to start to create the teeth, and as you can see, I'm just making straight lines from my top lip down my bottom lip. So you just want to continue to make these straight lines as I'm doing right here. And the most important thing that you want to remember is you want to fill in the inner part of your lips. If you do not fill in the inner part of your lips, it's not going to look hollow and it's going to look like lips. This is really what creates that illusion of like having teeth and not having lips, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm really bad at explaining this stuff, guys. All I know is that you really need to fill in the line inside of your lips so that it all connects with that line that you created on the side that we're going to draw the teeth on. Oh, I think that makes sense. I hope you guys are understanding this. Okay, so now on the teeth, this is the easiest way that I can think to do teeth, and this is how I always do it. I draw my lines and then I draw little Y's on the ends of the lines, just like this. And you're going to see I'm going to do this with like all the teeth now. So literally all I'm doing is drawing a straight line and then my little Y's on the top and on the bottom. A line, Y on the top, Y on the bottom. Line, Y on the top, Y on the bottom. And I just keep doing that over and over and over again until I have created all of the teeth. Okay, so now I'm going to start giving the teeth more shape and making them actually look like teeth. I'm actually going to end up having to do this all over again in a little while because I hadn't painted my teeth white yet and I totally didn't realize that. So basically I'm going into all the little corners of the teeth and I'm making little diagonal lines and just filling in those little edges. So basically, I don't even know how to describe this. Okay, so I made my straight lines and then on the edges of those straight lines where it meets the line that the teeth are sitting on, I'm filling in the corners. Yes, I'm filling in the corners to make it look like more like teeth-like shapes as opposed to like little chiclets, if that makes sense. So I'm just filling in those corners. Just look. You guys can see what I'm doing. You guys are watching this, right? I'm sorry I'm so bad at explaining this. I'm trying my best, guys. But yes, just fill in the corners. And you kind of want to make like little diamonds in between all the teeth, as you can see there, to make them look more like teeth. So now this is when I realized that I hadn't painted the teeth white. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't paint any of these teeth white. I'm not going to keep cutting my little corners. I need to paint them in white. So I took the white from the Flash palette and I just started filling in all the teeth to make them white. And then I'll go back and make my little diamonds and cut my little corners to make them look more like teeth. Okay, so now that my teeth are nice and filled in and it's kind of starting to come together, I'm going to create my like jaw line type thing. So I'm just following my natural cheekbone and creating like a little curve on the edge so that it kind of looks like my teeth are coming out from a bone and they're not just like sitting there out of nowhere, you know what I mean? So then I went ahead and filled in the rest of my face with pink because I hadn't done that yet, and then I'll go ahead and do my little bottom jaw line. So I'm basically doing the same thing that I did on the top, just flipping it so that's on the bottom. This part is kind of hard for me, I'm not going to lie. Getting that perfect little curve is really difficult. And when you're doing like a full skull, you have to do both sides. It's really hard to make them even, especially because it's like you're not looking straight on, you're trying to look from the side, and it's really hard to see in your little mirror when your face is sideways, and it's just do your best, guys. Remember, it is makeup, and if you mess up, you can just wash it off and you can start all over. It's no big deal. So now I'm filling all of this in with the Inglot Black Gel Liner, and then I'm using my finger to kind of pull the color out and make it look nice and blended. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start making my teeth look more like teeth. So I'm just refilling those black straight lines that I had drawn because we kind of lost a little bit of that dimension when I painted my teeth in white. So I'm just refilling those black straight lines, and then I'm going to start creating my Y's at the top and at the bottom, as you can see. So what I do is I create these little Y's and then I fill them in the middle to make it look more like a tooth-like shape as opposed to chiclets, of what I was saying before. So just go ahead and watch, and you guys are going to see how I do this because I don't know how else to explain it except to make little Y's, and I'm not going to keep for the next 30 seconds saying make Y's, make Y's, make Y's, because you guys are going to think I'm super annoying. So just check it out. Just watch, guys. So since I had just finished using my brush and I had only a little bit of product on it, I went ahead and took advantage and started creating little cracks and like squigglies on my teeth so that they looked less perfect. Because if they look too perfect, it looks, I don't know, I just didn't want them to look so perfect. I wanted them to look more like distressed. I want distressed teeth, if that makes sense. So, if you hear anything in the background, that's my coffee machine. I'm making coffee because Lord knows I need that. So now I'm just using a little bit of black eyeshadow and filling in that jaw area so it kind of all ombres together. As you can see, I kind of very lightly dusted over the last two teeth that I created there because I wanted to kind of like mesh and all blend together and not just harshly start out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying, guys? I feel like this whole video I've been like, do you guys know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying, and I hope this is helpful. So now I'm going to start to shade around the teeth, and this is what's really going to make them come to life and really look three-dimensional. So I'm just following those little Y's that I created and going with a little bit of black eyeshadow and just filling in and kind of blending out, if that makes sense. So I'm filling in really harshly in between the teeth, which is the inside of the little Y's, and then I'm kind of dragging whatever's left over on the brush out so that it looks nice and blended and not so harsh. But this is really where you start to see the teeth looking like teeth and not like, I don't know. They just start to look more like teeth now in this moment, guys. So I'm just using this little black eyeshadow to fill in around the teeth and to kind of fill in inside of the teeth wherever they need to be filled in to make them look more three-dimensional and more realistic, as real as this can possibly look. Because we have teeth drawn on our face, you know? So now I'm going to go ahead and start to create my nose. I'm honestly really freehanding this, guys. There is no technique to this. I'm kind of just going. I kind of made like a little bit of a curve because that's the shape I wanted to go for. But I make my outline and then I start to fill in with black in the middle on the inside of it. And then I ended up doing like this little like squiggle, snaky looking type thing on the bottom, which you'll see in the next clip. But really, there's no wrong way to do a nose when it comes to a skull. Just create your outline and then fill in with black in the middle. You can really, I don't know who I was talking to, I'm so sorry. Probably my boyfriend or my mom. So you just start to make your shape and then fill it in with black on the inside so that it looks like it's hollow and like you have no nose. So now we're going to go ahead and finish up the glam side of this look. And I'm using my Lorac Pro Contour Palette, and I'm using the shades Light and Medium Contour to contour my face. I'm contouring my cheekbone, the forehead, the side of my forehead that's exposed, and my jawline. And now I'll go into my NARS Laguna Bronzer and just dust a little bit of bronzer right on top of all that contour to give me a little bit more of a glow and a little bit more of a bronzy finish. I know that I'm like dead and I should be looking really corpsey, but you know me, I just always need a good bronze, guys. So now for blush, I'll be using the Jaclyn Hill and Becca Face Palette. I'm mixing together the colors Amaretto, and I believe that color is Rose Spritz, because I wanted something really pinky and kind of glowy. I don't know why I wanted to glow so bad when I'm supposed to be dead, but whatever, that's what I use for blush. And now for highlight, I'm using my Mary Luminizer from The Balm Cosmetics, because I wanted a super intense, bright highlight, so I'm just going to go ahead and highlight away with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit more shading and kind of start creating my cracks. So I'm just using a little bit of the black Inglot eyeliner, and again, no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just drawing basically like little lines to make them look like cracks. I'm drawing some straight ones, some squiggly ones, some thicker ones, some thinner ones, you know, just variety to make it look a little bit more messy and not so perfect. And then I'm filling in the little areas underneath of where I'm creating those cracks, so like within those triangles, and then using my finger to drag down to kind of make it look more blended, and this just creates more of like a hollow effect. The shading that's what the shading does. It makes everything look more hollow, and it makes it look like there's actually like a hole in my face as opposed to just like black smudgy lines on my face. So just keep doing that. Just keep applying product and then using your finger to pull it down to blend it out. But make sure you're always pulling it down and not up. And if you ever mess up and like take any of your shading too far, it's no big deal. You can just take your paint and paint right over it and blend it back together. Like I said, this is makeup, guys. If you mess up, it's not a big deal. You can always fix it. So that's what I'm doing here because I took my shading way too far. Then I realized that my brain should not be pastel pink. It should be more of like a fuchsia, bright pink. So I went ahead and I'll show you which colors I used right now from the palette, but I just filled my brain in with a little bit more of a bright color. I mixed together the red and the pink in the palette to get that color. Now I'm going into this palette from, where is it from? It is from Crown Brushes, and I'm just using this kind of like pinkish reddish color to set that cream because I did not mix it with the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, so it will move around, so I'm just setting it down with a powder. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of shading with some black eyeshadow just to, again, create more dimension. So now I'm going to go ahead and create the brain. I don't really know what a brain looks like, guys, so I just took my black gel liner and I started making like kind of like little squiggles and like rounded out circles and like, I don't know, I just kind of started making shapes to give it dimension and make it look like it was more of like a brain. And now is when I started with the flowers. Okay, so I don't love how these flowers came out. Like, that's why I was gonna refilm this look, because I wanted to do the flowers differently, but I don't think they look bad. They just don't look as amazing as I wanted them to. But you know, trial and error, guys. This was the first time I did it. So all I'm doing is I'm dipping my brush into the Makeup Forever palette into different colors, and I'm making little dots to make them like look like flowers. And then I'm doing two little green dots next to them to make it look like there's leaves on the flowers. And then I'm adding a little white dot to the center to kind of make it look like a flower. So as you can see right here, look, I'm doing like little splotches, basically just making little circles, like circle-like shapes with these colors, and then doing the little green leaves on the side to make it look like there's leaves, and then adding the white to the center to make it look more like a flower. And that's really it. And then you'll see now I'll take a black eyeliner and I'll start outlining the flowers to make them look a little bit more three-dimensional and so that you can see the shape a little bit more. I really wanted these flowers to look kind of like watercolor flowers, and I feel like I did a good job of making them look like watercolor flowers. I just think that I could have done a better job with the flowers, but I'd never done this before, so for a first time, I don't think it's that bad. I think it turned out okay, guys. But once I finish with the flowers, I'm just going ahead and shading around because I lost a little bit of the shading when I was trying to do the flowers, so I'm just fixing that up. So now to just give the brain a little bit more dimension, I'm going to go on with some of the white paint from the Flash palette and do like little highlights. So I'm just following some of the black squiggles that I made to make it look like a little bit more three-dimensional. I'm trying my best. I don't know how to do a brain, guys, but I feel like it helped, the white, you know. So now I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of my body, and I'm going to do my neck. I just mixed together that kind of peachy pink color from the palette and the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, and I'm just using a big foundation brush to put it all over myself. You're going to see now that I'm going to pick up a beauty blender and kind of going with the beauty blender because the brush makes it look really streaky, so I just wanted to make it look a little bit more airbrush and a little bit more blended. And then once I'm done with this, we will move on to the bones. And look, I must have been telling my boyfriend a really intense story, snapping my fingers and everything. Damn, girl, get it? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start creating my bones. I'm just using the white from the Makeup Forever Flash palette, and I'm creating kind of like little rectangles. And you're going to see that I'm going to continue to create them. I don't know exactly what a skeleton's supposed to look like. I just kind of glanced at a picture and kind of went with it. I purposely wanted this to look a little bit messy. I wanted this to look, like I said before, very watercolor-ish. That's what I was trying to do with the flowers, make them look very like watercolor and not perfect, if that makes sense. So I was kind of just going with it, just doing whatever. At this point, it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was also very tired. But I just wanted to kind of create the illusion and kind of bring everything together. I didn't want it to legitimately look like ribs and like bones. I just wanted it to kind of blend with the rest of the makeup, and I just wanted to give a little bit something more, if that makes sense. But I wanted it to look very, what is the word I'm thinking of? Like almost like fairy-like and like mystical, kind of like foresty and like effortless, which is why I didn't want everything to be so perfect. I just kind of wanted it to be there and be simple and be effortless. So now I'm going to go ahead and just outline everything with black to make it look three-dimensional and make it look more cartoony. So I'm just doing that right now. I'm using the black from the Makeup Forever Flash palette, which I should have used the Inglot Black Gel Liner because you're going to see it's going to smudge all over my neck. I'm going to fix it, but it's going to get all smudgy all over my neck, which is what I was trying to tell you guys about this palette. If you do not set it with powder, it smudges everywhere and it's super annoying. But I was not paying attention and I used the black from the palette instead of the black Inglot Gel Liner, so I'll have to fix that after. So now that I'm done outlining, I'm just once again going to start to fill in around where I outlined just to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional and make it look, yeah, like 3D. It just makes it look kind of like if it's popping out and not so flat. So I'm just filling in between and blending it out. You could never do that. 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 Sound smoke. The last thing I'm gonna do here on my chest is start to add the flowers. So same thing, just make big giant blobs basically, draw 2 little leaves next to it, and then put a little white dot in the middle, and then outline them with black to make them stand out more and look three-dimensional. I have used the word three-dimensional so many times in this video. I don't know any other word to use though. So yeah, so I'm just doing the same exact thing I did on my forehead to make the flowers on my chest. And now for lips, I'm using the Velvet 59 liquid lipstick in the color Kylie. It was like inspired by Kylie Jenner, that's why it's called Kylie. This is one of my favorite liquid lipstick formulas. And after this, I'll just fix up my hair and we are done.